Hi, everyone. So, this week we're going to be talking about chapter 15, which is talking about mobile analytics. I think you're going to enjoy this mostly because you probably grew up with a cell phone. So, this chapter is going to have a brief introduction on mobile analytics, the types of mobile apps that you can track, and deciding if the type of a mobile app to develop or use is beneficial. So, a little introduction mobile data is constantly generated by our mobile devices, and there are two main methods when analyzing data, which we will end up covering later. Mobile applications, or a mobile app, is becoming an integral part of our life, and the apps that we download either on an Apple or an Android in the app stores. Applications or app are special purpose software developed to perform certain tasks to on our mobile devices. These devices produce a wealth of data that can be an interest to both device owners and marketers. If you have ever done any digging or read the terms of agreement, which I would recommend at least reading one terms of agreement after listening to this little episode of our weekly discussion. Data can always be processed and ran on an app. Even if you don't have it on, it is always running and collecting information about you. Some apps can access your photos and take your photos without knowing. The Face Age app was very controversial because, like, they thought it was like people were spying on individuals. So, really read your terms of agreement just one time and see what you think about the mobile apps. As of June 2016, there were 4.2 million apps available to download on the Apple Store and Google Play alone. 4.2 million. I remember in 2009 when Tiny Wings was like the big app to have, and it was like one of the only ones you could have that was like free. Mobile analytics focuses on characteristics of mobile devices and the activities that originate on them, whereas traditional web analytics focused on activities that occur in HTML websites. Mobile analytics platforms were designed to track the actions and behaviors of visitors on a website or app originating from visitors or apps users on a mobile device. And this all came from Statsa, which we talked about previously. And I highly recommend using it on marketing projects. So, mobile analytics and web analytics are very similar, but also really different. So, mobile analytics are both similar and different because to traditional based on the scope and the methodology when you implement both of these types. So, in some cases, using traditional web analytics to visualize mobile device activity can be super misleading. As an example, a web referral in traditional web analytics is generated from a website domain or page within a domain, whereas a mobile web analytics, the referral is originating from a mobile device, which is not an optimal way to visualize the activity because a mobile device is not a website referral. Yet the analytics treat it as if it was. Showing activity from a specific app or mobile web application would be much more helpful, but traditional web analytics are not designed to collect that type of data and represent the relationship. Although attempts have been made to broaden the scope of analytics to include more activities that have been created to track. When web analytics was created in the mid 1990s, mobile devices barely existed. So, obviously, mobile analytics did not. The basic reporting structure of web analytics never accounted for the changes in technology that took place shortly after. So the changes were added later, but fundamental reports never changed. So the reporting structure was baked in. Um, if you thought about cell phones and tablets and the iPhone, even the iPhone from 2009 when Steve Jobs produced this phone, that was not something that was ever expected. It wasn't even comprehensible. So they still had, back in the 90s, my family had cell phones and cars, like bag phones. So it's just something that to think about how far we come and then like think about the next 20 years where we'll be and what type of analytics will be developed based on the technology advancements. So, reasons to ensure a website is mobile friendly. When a business fails to create a mobile friendly website experience of visitors, they actually are leaving money on the table and losing business. Have you ever been on a website on your phone or a tablet and it was super frustrating and it didn't look right and the words were all jumbled or it had a page error? It's probably because that business wasn't considering it to be mobile friendly. You have to set it up completely different. So, in 2015, better search engine rankings came into play. They made sure that mobile compatibility has been a search engine ranking factor on Google. So, overall, most of the referral traffic arriving on a website originates from mobile devices. So, Google actually ranked you lower if you were not mobile friendly. So if somebody accessed your website and you were set up to just be like a desktop page, then you got ranked lower on search engine optimization, and your website was losing money. Many websites have been designed to work on desktops or laptops rather than mobile devices. So creating frustration in user experience while trying to be used on a mobile device. There's strong evidence that searches performed on mobile devices are highly correlated to consumers who are willing to visit a local business and make a purchase the same day. Mobile devices broadcast their locations to ISPs and search engines, as well as many other mobile apps. There's actually ways, if you live in big cities, not Johnson City, but if you live in bigger cities and you have it available for marketers to track your phone, they are able to know where you're at based on like the store, and they're able to send you like mobile apps saying like, "Hey, come in our store. We got like a big sale going on," or they might be able to send you an email because they know where you're at. That's pretty wild, right? So, what is mobile analytics? Well, when you think about analytics, you need to think of these two things: mobile web analytics and app analytics. Mobile web analytics is focusing on characteristics, actions, behavior of a mobile website visitor. That is the visitor to a mobile version of your company's website, either adapted on the website or an app. App analytics deal with understanding and analyzing mobile application users' characteristics, actions, and behaviors. So, mobile apps are used to drive sales, improve brand affinity, and make purchases when possible with few swipes. In an app, if you have like the free version of an app, have you ever noticed that like you have to like watch an ad, either like it be 5 seconds, maybe it's a flash ad, or maybe you have to sit through like a whole 20-second ad while it shows you this video? That is really generating the company a lot of money, but it also is driving sales for other brands, and it's doing it based on your customer actions, behaviors, and characteristics. So, the purpose of app analytics is based on the types of questions being asked and answered, and they all vary depending on what kind of app analytics are being performed. So, who are my users? Which countries are they from? What actions are they taking? How do my customers navigate in the app? What are my in app payments and revenue? How long do they stay on my app? Which operation system, and devices are they using? What item is being purchased the most? Which country were the top performers in terms of the in-app purchases? Which application version led to the more sales? How long do my users stay inside my application? How often do my users open my app? How many users started a specific number of sessions? And how do my application versions compare to one another? So these are all questions that different types of app analytics will answer for you, and you can set it up like a dashboard. Google Analytics kind of does some of this, and I will show you videos on like my content that I create for you all. But for now, just think of these questions in a broad scope on not through Google Analytics. So, types of an app. There are two types of apps that are classified into app development and a type of app. So, app classifications from a perspective of a development and deployment are native mobile apps, web-based apps, and hybrid apps. So, a native app or a mobile app are specifically created and installed for a mobile device. So, your phone or your tablet. I have tried to get like some of my applications off my phone onto my computer. Instagram used to be really hard to operate. You couldn't actually do it on a desktop. You had to be on a mobile device. So some pros of this is it's available in app stores. They're easy to monetize. They're fast and they adjust well to their native platforms. But some cons are they're very device specific, the old Instagram, expensive to develop, and they can only be accessed through mobile devices. Native apps are mobile or native apps specifically created and installed for devices by downloading them on an iPhone or Android app store. Native apps are built from executable codes. They run directly by a microprocessor on a mobile device, and they can only run on compatible devices that run the code. Hence, the term executable is used. For example, apps in an Android based mobile device are created in Java programming language, and the iOS are created and developed in Objective C and Cocoa programming, which is a programming language native to Apple devices. One way to distinguish native apps is other types of apps can only be accessed through specific mobile devices. Tinder. Tinder is a social networking app. Uber is a taxi sharing app. These are examples of native apps whose program must be downloaded first and installed from an app store. So you can't get Tinder on your computer and Uber or Lyft. Most Apple and Google run their app stores, and they keep track of the most updated versions of the app. So app users are notified when new versions of the app are available in App Store. Updated apps are automatically downloaded and installed on mobile devices where the app is installed. I'm really bad about updating my apps, and that is probably not the best thing because they actually improve your processing system for your mobile device. So always update your app. Web-based apps. Web-based apps are native apps, but in reality, they are website optimized for mobile access. So pros is it's less costly to develop and maintain. They are device independent. They can be accessed from mobile devices and accessed through internet browsers. Some cons. Cons are they are not available in app stores. They are slow. Usable as a native app, and they're hard to monetize them. Web-based apps look like native apps, but they're on a website and they're optimized for mobile access. So you have to go through like a browser. So an example would be the Touch Style. It's a fashion design app, and it's web-based app for an iPad, which is accessed through Apple's Safari. Web-based apps are created through standard web coding techniques like JavaScript or HTML5. They are accessed using internet browsers, and hence they're not available in an app store. The advantage of developing web-based apps is actually they can be accessed from any mobile device, and it's less costly to maintain and establish them. But the bad side is regarding the performance. They're not fast, they're not usable in a native app in their programming because it's not optimized for mobile devices to run on. Moreover, web-based apps are simply mobile-friendly HTML5 code that is executed by a web server. So they are not distributed in app stores, and it's hard to monetize them. It should be noted that web-based apps should execute similarly on mobile and desktop devices.